Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to cultivate our superpower to pay off debt quickly using something called velocity banking. Now, if you don't know what velocity banking is, well, most Americans don't know it either. Just a very small percentage of them. Because most people, believe it or not, are struggling, right? It says right here, paycheck to paycheck statistics, 66.2% of Americans report struggling between paydays. That's a lot of people. Now, there's various reasons for that. People not making enough money, but another reason is they got too much debt, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today, paying off debt. And one day, you might develop this superpower too to pay off a mortgage under 3 years and possibly be out of touch. I remember where I used to be here, like a long time ago. It's like a vague, distant memory. And now every time I see like a video on TikTok about someone who's like 21 or 22 and struggling in life, I'm like, you know what's funny? I actually showed one of those videos to people who are older than me, kind of like my parents' age, and they own like 20 something rental properties, and they're like, that's a pretty good joke. And they were so dead serious when they said that. And I was like, no, this is like average America. Like they were like they were more out of touch than I am. At least maybe I'm not as out of touch because I remember this. This was like a memory etched into my head like 10 years ago. But I'm slowly getting those memories are slowly fading away because I paid off my mortgage in 3 years, right? So just a humble brag. And plus, I'm getting a new home equity line of credit for $280,000. In fact, where is it? Let's take a look. Scroll up. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Look, I'm almost there. Almost there. Oh man, I got a lot of things that happened to me recently. Well, blam, $280,000. So gonna have access to that as early as next week. Got to sign the papers, and we should be good to go. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so let's switch gears and we're going to pay off debt using something called velocity banking. So, what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy using a line of credit as your main operating account. And so, we assume two things when we do velocity banking. Number one is when we do these simulations, the exact same income as before, right? But number two, which is kind of countercultural, is you don't have any savings. Okay, now let's talk about the requirements of velocity banking. In order to do velocity banking, you need a budget, which we've shown right here. And then number two, you need a line of credit as your main operating account. Line of credit. And so what is a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay back, and then use it over and over again. So these are lines of credit. I got a $15,000 line of credit. You saw the 280, right? Should be available to me next week once I sign the dotted line. And then what else? I mean, all again, it's so cool. All you got to do is just go to the bank's website, click a button, and then you got cash in your checking account. Isn't that insane? That's all a line of credit is. It's a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over and over again. Okay? And so instead of our checking account being our main operating account, it's going to be our line of credit. And so we're going to assume, for the purposes of this velocity banking simulation, we're going to have a $20,000 not a home equity line of credit, personal line of credit available to us, right? So that just means that usually that you're not offering any collateral. When you have a home equity line of credit, you're offering collateral. So this one, no collateral, okay? And usually, I think they're more easily accessible in credit unions than they are in banks. Although I do have a personal line of credit with the bank, and it's only for $800. But since I had to close my other home equity line of credit, that $800 saved me, right? Because I don't have. Actually, let me think about this. I don't have home equity or other personal lines of credit with Zelle available. Just the $800 one for now, but we'll see. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the same thing on the velocity banking side. And then number two, so I'm sorry, zero savings. And then we have something called cash flow, which is income minus expenses. Okay. And so what our job is here, or we're at the stage where we need to move some debts to the line of credit. Okay, just move some of the debts to the line of credit, and then we're going to free up some cash flow. So let's just take a look here. So we got these short-term expensive loans. You ever seen like those Klarna or Affirm buy now pay laters? People are been really into those because they're in a cash crunch, right? It used to. I think I've taken one of those before, but it never had a 30% interest. In fact, I remember when I used to buy like stuff at QVC.com, and it was 0% interest. But I don't know if they've changed it up a bit because it's been so long since I bought from QVC. But let's go ahead and do this. We're going to move these short-term loans at high interest rates and also these two credit cards into the line of credit. Okay, so let's add them up. So 1,400 plus 800 plus 3,000 plus 5,000 plus 8,000. So that's about 18 grand, 18.2 grand. And so magically, this number is able to fit under $20,000, probably because I pre-planned this whole uh, velocity banking simulation session. Okay, so what happens simply by moving this 18 grand? Well, these payments go to zero. Zero, 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 zero. And now we basically doubled our cash flow, right? So we went from $720 of savings to no savings to about $1,600 of cash flow a month. Isn't that crazy? It's really crazy, right? And so now here's the actual velocity banking strategy. Your entire paycheck goes into the line of credit, okay? And then you take your expenses out of the line of credit. And then your cash flow every single month will bring down the balance of the line of credit. And that's it. That's it. That's the strategy. Simple, right? So simple. All right. So now we take the next month's balance, which is the previous month's balance, plus the previous month's interest, minus whatever the cash flow is, which is right now 1647.99. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the average daily balance, right? Let me go ahead and do that. So home, and you probably can't see this just because of how OBS works. You take the average here, you multiply it by 0.15, and then this is where people freak out because they actually think they're paying 15% interest on this average daily balance, but no, it's 15 divided by 12, right? So if I had to pay 15% interest per month, oh my goodness, I'd like freak out. Like, no thanks, I'm not doing this strategy, right? But because it's divided by 12, we'll be okay, I think, right? And so now, in about 12 months, we paid off the debt. Okay, so we paid off these buy now, pay later short-term loans to two credit cards, and so that's 12 months for 18.2K of debt. So let's write that as a milestone, right? So milestones is 12 months for 18.2K, not 182, but 18.2K of debt. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And then now we got to take care of the auto loan. We got a huge personal loan. In fact, I wonder, do I have a screenshot of the Discover website? Because this was like, I clicked the loan for for Discover, and they offer personal loans, and the default was like 20 grand at 17% for a 720 credit score. Is that insane? And here's the thing, if they put that on their website, like as like the default values, that probably means a lot of people are taking those too. Right? Or else, if nobody took them, they need to make money. Okay? So let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to tackle this. So when we're dealing with amortized loans, right, that are a little bit longer than your average bear, okay, we got to have a little bit of planning to it, right? So let me go ahead. So these short-term loans, we could actually probably delete these since they're paid off. Actually, where's the personal loan? Did I forget that? I probably did. Okay, so let me go ahead and put in the personal loan right here. And what was the original balance of that personal loan? 20 grand at 17%. 20 grand at 17% at 5 years, right? So 497.05. Yeah, 497.05. Okay. So now we have this cool loan calculator where we just got to put in the current month, so 12, 12, 12, right? And then we have the total interest paid. We have something called the cash flow index, right? If you don't know what the cash flow index is, all it is, okay, is an indicator about how much cash flow each debt is sucking up. And the lower the number, the better, right? So I never really fell in love with this until people start to send me the real life spreadsheets and budgets. And it was like, oh my goodness, there's like 22 debts here. How do I know which one to pay off? Oh, the cash flow index. That's like this was when it really like there was a light bulb moment for me. This is where I developed my superpower using the cash flow index. So when I have 20 debts, it's like, oh, I know which one to pay off first, the lowest ranking one. Okay, so let's go ahead and because we don't have a huge line of credit, we could just pay them one at a time. So let's move this 17 grand balance, right, for this personal loan into that line of credit and get $497 of cash flow back. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going all over the place. So here, 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 and then I'm going to copy and paste here. Copy and paste here, and then we're going to add plus 17225.81. Okay, so we just simply moved that debt into the line of credit. But by simply moving the debt, oh my goodness, we get this personal loan cash flow back, almost $500. So now this is going to be zero, right? And now our cash flow is over $2,000. Mind blown. Okay? This is mind blowing. Well, blam. Right? So now we got to replace this cash flow. So instead of 1647.99, it's 2145.04, right? And after every single subsequent month, okay? Is this right? Okay. After every single subsequent month, now our cash flow is going to be about $2,000. And then in month 21, we paid off that personal loan. Personal loan completely gone from the line of credit. Okay, so now let's put that as a milestone right here for a personal loan. So 21 months. Oh, I can't even spell. 21 months. So that's going to be 28.2 thousand. Okay, so let me just go right here and 28.2 thousand, right? And then now we got to update our loan calculator. And how do you get a fancy loan calculator like this? Well, you just make it up because Excel has these cool functions. They're called TMV, time value of money functions, or is it TVM? Probably TVM. Time value of money functions, where you just put in the stuff and it'll spit out a payment and then the balance, FV, future value, right? So you calculate all that if you have these three variables: original balance, interest rate, and then loan term in years. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do this. So the current balance is actually zero for this one, but after, what is it, 21 months? Yeah, 21 months. Take the balance, and then we can move to 16 grand, okay, into that line of credit. So let's go ahead and do that here. Okay, so now what we do is do plus 16468.8, okay? And by simply moving that 16 grand, guess what happens to this auto loan payment? Zero. And then now we got 2641.63 in oodles and oodles of cash flow. Oodles. I got to make a slogan and t-shirt and sell that as a way to make some money, don't you think? Or maybe not. All right. So now what we do here is we update this cash flow. 26.2614.63. Okay. And now let's go ahead and do that. And then at 28, right? So at month 28, that car is paid off. Okay, car's paid off. 28 months. And how much is that now? So it's 28.2 plus 24. Okay, so 28.2 plus 24. Let me put an equal sign so we can evaluate that. That's 52.2K. 52.2K. Okay, so now we attack the mortgage. Now, what's really important is that we have to learn to attack the mortgage last because it sucks up the least amount of cash flow for our debt. This is why the cash flow index is a really easy indicator to figure out, oh, which debt order we pay off. And so after 28 months, let's look at the balance of the loan. So 28, 199,000. We barely chipped this thing. And look, the cash flow index is a huge number. So what can we do with this, right? So we have two options. Number one is the default option of we're going to throw our extra cash directly into the loan. Okay? We definitely do that, right? In fact, someone just wrote a challenge like, why don't you do a challenge of which one is better? And the thing is that you do whatever you want, right? It's not a competition. All I'm saying is that, hey, if you actually just move some of the principal balance into a line of credit, you're going to actually put your entire paycheck in it. And so you might say, what's the value in that? The fact is you're going to actually do it, right? Like, I know this sounds kind of weird. I'm probably explaining myself kind of badly because I'm actually sleepy right now. Again, out of touch, and I could just make videos whenever I want. But I remember attending a real estate investing webinar, right? And a lot of people, they ask like, what's the best real estate investing strategy in this market? And he says it's the one you're actually going to do. And a lot of people, right? The reason why putting your cash directly into loan doesn't work for them is for two reasons. Number one, once you put that entire cash back into the line of credit, you don't get that money back, and so that scares people, which is why they have savings. Number two, let's say you do put that cash into to the loan, and then you use your line as a backup, right? Well, you've segregated your income. And income segregation is one of the things that we don't do, or else we might end up like this. And always hate to call out this situation, but this is such a beautiful scenario when it comes to segregation of income. I remember I saw it, I was like, I can't even believe it. This is like the unicorn example of segregation of income. And that's the thing that we're trying to prevent. Now, if you want to go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. Nothing preventing you doing it, but I never segregated my income. I put my entire paycheck into that line of credit. And one of the most important other things that we have to do is make sure that we don't replace our mortgage with the line of credit. We don't need to do that. Okay? We don't need to replace the whole thing. And luckily we have a velocity banking calculator, and I just need to pull it out and just kind of type in the numbers really quickly because I'll be honest, I'm getting really sleepy. I don't know about you, but yeah, and there's going to be a hurricane here soon. But I don't think it's going to affect me because I'm away from Florida, but we're still getting warnings that, hey, that hurricane's coming. All right, so let me go ahead and open it up. And let's go ahead and do that. And did I have everything filled out already? That's crazy. Maybe I did. Okay. And let's take a look here. And all right, what is the current balance? Is it 210? Yeah, so the payment's the same, the balance is not. So 199,561.64. So 199,561.64. Okay. And then, so let's forget about this for now, the line of credit information. Let's put in our expenses and income. So what is our expenses and income? Okay. It is 5,500. So we're kind of taking a pay cut in this scenario. 5500, 2,000 is right. And so the thing is that I don't really think, like, I honestly think that the optimal so-called chunk is just a very low amount, right? And I've played around with this, so sometimes it's really weird. If I put in a lower chunk, it actually gives me a worse result, and I don't know why. So I just say general rule of thumb, just use the same amount as your paycheck, right? 5500. And look at that, pays off in 5.2 years. Okay, 5.2 years. Now, the thing that we don't want, actually, is this the right interest rate? Probably should be 15. Let's do 15. That's what it is. So look at that. We pay 1 grand more interest for a 15% personal line of credit. All right, isn't that crazy? Now, here's the thing that we don't want to do. Okay, and I warn you about this in almost every single video. You don't, the mortgage is the one that we need to pay off last, so it's like the least important debt in terms of priority of cash flow. But if you just simply replace this mortgage with the huge increased jump in the line of credit, take a look at this. Even though I paid off in 8.6 years, I pay $62,000 more in interest. In fact, I need to highlight this. Okay, let me format the cells, and this should be currency. And I think they got a, yeah, I got it. Oh man, see that red number made me sneeze. Or wait, did I sneeze or did yeah, I sneezed. I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, replacing this mortgage, bad mistake. You know, it feels so powerful that it just made me sneeze right now. Who in the world would want you to pay more in a shorter amount of time? That would be crazy. Listen, if you want to replace your mortgage and pay $62,000 more in a faster time period, like you could actually save the money. You could actually save 62 grand and spread it out over 30 years. But you decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to replace my small percentage mortgage with a higher interest rate line of credit because I didn't do the math. And you need to do the math. Really important. You don't want to do, just watch YouTube videos where they say, oh, line of credit interest good because it's simple interest and loan interest bad because it's amortized. No, no. We do the math. And so here we can see that I pay $62,000 extra. Now, here's the thing. If you want to pay that $62,000 extra, I probably need to make a PayPal or Stripe account so you can just kind of, or you maybe you can wire it to me and I'll be okay with it. Like, you want to give me 62 grand? I'm okay. I'm doing pretty well right now. But hey, instead of giving it to the bank, why don't you just give it to me? You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, obviously, we would never do that if we're going to develop our superpower. So let's just move this back into a smaller chunk. Okay. Oh, watching that negative $60,000, it's making me tear up. It's making me tear up. I'm heartbroken now. If anyone is actually gonna do this, replace your mortgage to the line of credit. See, I probably need to give away these calculators, but I'm actually not allowed to. You know why? Because this isn't even my calculator. This is from Renatus. And I'm an independent contractor and marketer for them. And this whole YouTube channel is just kind of like my sales funnel for Renatus educational products. But I probably need to do a better job of actually trying to sell this stuff because the Google form link down below is pretty much designed for you to not to submit it unless you're really, really serious, right? And that's because I don't have time to talk to most people. Just people who waste my time. That's all. All right. Well, that's it for today. So just developing my superpower again and again and again by doing these spreadsheets. So hopefully you enjoyed this and have a great day, everybody. And by next week, I will have officially $517,000 in lines of credit. Doesn't that sound like the bad guy from Mortal Kombat, Shao Kahn? If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Shao Kahn. Anyways, have a great day and good night.